Welcoming to Rage Against the Mainstream for the first time, you may know him as Stay Metal Ray on YouTube, but we know him as our new friend Ray. So I'd like to welcome you to the show. Thank you for coming on, man.
Dude, thank you so much. It's an absolute honor to be a guest on the show, and I'm just really excited to hang out and just, talk to you, and just whatever comes up, comes up. I'm just stoked, and I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, well, it's funny too because, like, doing a podcast, like, you're trying to, like, get guests on and stuff, and it's just like, it's almost like YouTube is starting to become like the new, like, norm to, like, rock star type deal. And I recently, well, not recently, probably about a year or so ago, I had Fluff on the show.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then I tried to get Ola on, but his schedule's like way too crazy, and his wife wrote back. She's like, "I'm sorry, we have to say no." And then I was sitting there, I was like, I saw your Instagram post, I was like, Philadelphia. I'm like, all right, this dude's probably down to earth. He's on the East Coast.
I don't know if people from Philadelphia are known as down to earth, but I'll take the compliment.
Well, I figured it was like, like East Coast, like, all right, he'll understand. He'll want to do this.
Yeah. In that regard, yes. It just, been from the outside perspective, when you think of Philadelphia, you think of like crazy Eagles fans. And I guess I am that in some regard, but I just think it's funny, down to earth. I don't know if that's how I would describe Philadelphians, but that's funny.
Well, like, I always had this suspicion that, like, you weren't like in the city, just like on like the outskirts of the city, and I was like, okay, all right, let's we can do this.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. I like grew up in and around Philly off and on. Like, I used to live in a town called Manayunk and Roxborough and all that. So I've spent many years and been in and out of the city, living there many times. So I just say I'm from Philadelphia because it's, it is literally just like 5 minutes down the road if you want to get technical. So
well,
it's just easier to say.
Well, I remember when me and my wife were on our honeymoon, we were at Niagara Falls. And everyone's like, so, we're on this like group tour thing, and, all these people are just like, oh, so where are you from? And I was like, oh, we're from South Jersey. They're like, oh, near Atlantic City? And I was like,
at that point,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we're from the shore.
yeah, literally. It's funny you say that, because it's like literally what I do, in the sense of, like, rather than say like, oh, like, I'm in a small town that's like 7 minutes, depending on traffic, from the Philadelphia outskirts. You ever hear of Brookhaven? No? Okay, never mind. Like, I just say Philly, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, out your way, you could just say, oh, you know where the Freddy's Steak Burgers is? And everyone's gonna be like, oh, yeah.
That's funny, Freddy's. Yeah, literally.
Dude, I make trips out there, especially just for Freddy's.
Really?
Yeah.
I take that for granted, because I could almost see it from my house. I was literally just there, like in the shopping center, like 25 minutes ago, prior to shooting this. That's so funny.
Well, because there's only two around. There's the one in Springfield, and there's the one in Brookhaven. And Springfield's a hike, especially
dude, it's hard to get to. It's hard for me. It's like,
oh yeah. Well,
it's like
476 is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's rough. I didn't realize Freddy's was like a novelty, or like a thing. Like, it popped up a couple years ago now. I was gonna say a couple months ago, but I saw it. I was like, oh, all right, whatever. But if you're traveling great distances,
oh yeah, you travel to get Freddy's.
Okay, I'm so naive. I'm so spoiled. I don't even know what I have in my backyard.
So, let's get into the YouTube thing.
Cool.
So, you started your account in 2013, but you have videos that start from 5 years ago. What was that span, or was there a bunch of like deleted videos?
No. So, I think I had to get my Google account, because like when I started in 2013, I think Google accounts were like, I don't know, like mandatory for stuff. Like, this is like, I was like 20 at the time. So like, I think I needed a Google account for like a resume or something. Like, I don't know, I needed it for something. So when it was time to create a YouTube channel, I just realized I already had one, and I just was like, all right, I'll just use this one. Because I'm so not tech savvy, or like computer, like I barely know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I am so like flying by the seat of my pants trying to figure it all out. So no, like my YouTube channel or career, if you want to call it that, didn't start until March of 2017. It was just an old account that I just had, just because I had no idea like what I was doing. Basically,
Yeah.
I had no idea like 4 years prior that this would be like a job opportunity. It's just kind of what was there, and I just kind of picked it up out of the dirt and brushed it off, and I used that Google account, so to speak.
Yeah. So I guess like what was the initial plan? I mean, because like your older videos, they're still shot like extremely good, like the cover videos and stuff that you have.
Thanks, man.
Like, did you have like any kind of I guess like photography experience or anything back then, or was it just like this will look good?
Yeah, dude, literally nothing, man. So the plan was, I started out, the infancy of my channel was to catalog all of the songs that I have, sitting around in my head. Like I had like Laid to Rest, Enter Sandman, Crazy Train, all the classic metal songs just kicking around in my head. And I was tired of constantly having to relearn them just so I could play them for myself. It was eating up too much CPU space up here. And I was like, I want to get it out of my head, and I want to get it in a finished product. So that was the initial plan of my YouTube channel, just to catalog all my cover songs, all the songs that I liked to play. That way I didn't have to continuously remember all of them. And like, yeah, no prior photography or videography experience. I have a bachelor's in criminal justice. At the time, I had a bachelor's in criminal justice and a minor in sociology. That's what I went to school for. I had no videography or photography or any art schooling. It wasn't until like, I just started doing YouTube that like it was just all DIY, and to this day, it's all DIY. I'm just kind of just figuring it out as I go.
Well, that's the thing too, because you have all these channels that have these like huge like staff and all this other stuff, and like it's always nice to see like the DIY guys like Ola England and Fluff and yourself and like Rob Scallon and like those guys, and it just seems like that there's more of like a personable thing with it. You know what I mean? It's almost like
For sure.
Like it's not like a corporatized machine and you're like hanging out with somebody.
Right. Like, I mean, God, there's days where like I wish I had a team, and I don't even know for what, but just to help. Like, like no specific task, but like, hey, can you? I don't know. For example, hey, can you move that light? I'm already kind of like sitting down, ready to play. Just the little things like that, a helping hand. But I do wear that badge proudly. Like I'm a one-man show. I don't have an editor. I don't have anybody like answering emails. I don't have a manager. I don't have anything. It's all me and myself, and it's hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard, but it's also, it's rewarding, and it's like I have nobody else to blame if something goes wrong but myself, and I have nobody to thank but myself in some regard. I mean, I thank my audience every single day. I mean, people who entertain me, and even people such as yourself who want to talk to me is like the coolest thing. I'm forever grateful for that. But the creative side of things, it's all myself, and I never had and don't see it for the foreseeable future have like an employee or anything like that. So it's all just me running the show for now.
Well, I think also too, like being a guitar player as well, there is like a certain level of like egotisticalism, like you know what I mean? Like there's like a certain level there where it's just like, yeah, I did this. Like when you show up to band practice, you have a complete song and you don't want to have anyone else's input.
Right. So like I think I to this day I struggle with that. Like I'm about to release original material for the first time, like for realsies, not like glorified demos, like real stuff. And I struggle with that. Like, hey, this is who I am. Pay attention to me. This is all like my shy little kid in me is always in there from like elementary school, middle school. He always lives in there. So like I have to fight that little dude inside my brain. Like, nah, man, you gotta earn people's attention and respect and all the above. So I guess there has to be some sort of, like you said, egotistical thing in me,
Mm.
because I'm putting myself out there for the world to view and judge and, you know, all the above. But yeah, like that's something that I personally feel like I struggle with. That's like one of my weak points of being an internet dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I struggle with that.
Like even doing this, it was like this was kind of like me and a couple buddies started this like completely on a whim, and I was just like, all right, well, you know, I'll just buy everything and we'll just do it at my house because I know I'll always be available if I'm here.
Right.
And then that turned into, you know, like 3-hour editing sessions, and then I was like, you know what, let's do video too, and then turned into 3 hours of that, and then, you know, at the end of the day, it's just like I'm the only one doing this.
Right. Kind of like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, it's just like work on top of that, and then, you know, every other thing that I want to do, it's just it's overwhelming sometimes.
It is, but I'm sure at the end of the day, I would like to think that you enjoy it and it's all worth it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like
Cool.
I love doing this stuff. I mean, you know, the people that I've been able to talk to over the past few years, and like I said, like people like you, and you know, I've had Doc Coyle on this show, I've had Fluff on, I've had like an array of artists, and it's just like these are people I never would have spoken to otherwise.
Yeah,
I just would have been sitting on my couch.
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you for including me in that, you know, group of people. I'm very honored to even be in the same sentence, so thank you. But also, too, I could say the same thing about you. I would have, you know, this was very thrown together like yesterday. We figured this out, or maybe even this morning. I don't remember, but it was quick. But anyway, had you not reached out and had you not had this platform, I would have never indirectly met you right now. So like I could say the same thing. I think it's so rad. I think it's so cool. So, you know, I value what you're doing all the same.
Yeah, and it's just so funny too. Like there's probably been multiple times that me and you have passed each other.
Probably
in the Freddy's parking lot and never even knew.
Yeah. I was at ShopRite and you're in Freddy's or whatever. Yeah. You never know, but you know, now we know who each other are, and you know, you're right across the way in South Jersey, just over one of the bridges that you want to cross.
So, I want to talk about Endorphins. I listened to it. I listened to it when it came out, and I've been listening to it all day because it's just like, not that I want to like submerge myself in who I'm talking to, but like I want it, like, you know, I want it to be fresh. And
I get it for sure, man.
At the time that we've recorded this, you're almost at 3,000 views for that video.
So like I got like two, there's like a playthrough and then there's like the audio.
The
like
audio.
They're both kind of like creeping along together as a pair.
Like how does that feel to go from, you know, like doing like the gear demos and stuff like that to having like your personal music, and you're getting ready to put out your solo album on June 24th, Chronic Pain. Shout out to everybody to check
Thanks,
that
buddy.
out.
I appreciate you, man.
I do a little bit of homework.
Yeah,
and
hey, I was listening and watching to you prior to getting on here, so I was doing my homework as well.
So you're brave then.
Yeah, let's go. That sounds right. Yeah, sure.
Well, you probably heard a couple things. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe I agreed to this.
No, I didn't hear anything crazy.
So how does that feel going from doing like the gear reviews and like, you know, bringing people into your channel based off of, you know, almost like a demographic of people like guitar players and stuff like that, to now like this song and the playthrough. Now you have, you know, you have something that most normal like people or even local bands or anything like that like won't get. Like, how does that feel to have your original music get to so many people?
It's incredibly gratifying. It's really, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, how else could I put it? It's amazing. It's hard to, or I should say, it's easy to lose sight of like people all over the world listen to that. You know, I recorded it right in this very seat, in this very spot, and now people like all over the world are jamming out to it. It's amazing, dude. So I have to constantly remind myself, like, dude, that's pretty cool. It's very cool, and I'm so thankful that people are stoked on it and so into it. And especially too, now my channel officially is like just over 5 years old since I started doing content. Just thinking back to like the first, year of not getting any traction, anything like that, to like where I'm at now. It's a lot of growth, and I have to remind myself like where I came from and be very thankful for where I'm at now. And I am, and it's just so rad and so rewarding that like the little weird riffs and noises that are in my head are now out into the world, and everybody can jam along with me. It's really, really rewarding. It's awesome.
So what do we have to look forward to with Chronic Pain? How many songs is it? Full length, EP?
It's a full length. It's 9 songs. I wrote it. So at the time of this filming or recording, it's June 1st right now. So I recorded it like 5 or 6 months ago, like started in December, January. And then I took a break and went on tour with a previous endeavor. And then I came home, and then wrote like 3 more songs. And I actually wrote the last song and got it mixed and everything back like 2 weeks ago. So pretty quick turnaround. And I had that June 24th release date set in stone for a long, long time. So shout out to Fernando from Lions at the Gate, the El Nino supergroup. That's what I like to describe it as. But anyway, he's a drummer. He mixed it all and mastered it all. He's got a YouTube channel. Super rad dude. Anyway, 9 songs. I wrote it all. Well, I recorded it all this past winter and even in the spring. But it's almost like it's a borderline concept album. It's all instrumental, but it's a borderline concept album. Excuse me. The album is titled Chronic Pain. Now, people who are familiar with my own individual story and journey, I'm always in physical pain. I have a lot of physical ailments. I've had 12 surgeries in my life, and I had my most recent one this past November. Was my 4th shoulder surgery. So chronic pain to me is all my physical ailments. So all these riffs are kicking around inside my brain while at the same time having chronic pain. So like this album is a representation of me. However, the entire world has experienced some form of chronic pain really, really badly ever since 2020 in a multitude of ways. And we're still dealing with things from back then, 2020, and new things that have since, come up, whatever. So we all can kind of relate to having some sort of pain in our lives, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, whatever. So that the name chronic pain is a universal statement of like what we've all kind of dealt with over the last 2.5 years. And it's kind of not what you would expect from me, because I'm kind of known for being like the happy-go-lucky kind of smiley guy on the internet. But it's my turn to create something that has meaning to it, some sort of like impactful statement. And I wanted to do this the right way. I wanted to create something that I'm proud of and something that means something to me, and it makes a statement, and it's a reflection of the entire world. So that's where like that whole mentality of that album came from. So,
and this is completely self DIY and released on your own. There's no label or anything like that.
No. So like, I mean, it would it have been cool to like release this with a label? Like, yeah, for sure. But I didn't go out of my way to try to find some sort of distribution. I feel like it would be more rewarding and honestly just faster and easier if I just did it all myself. It was all recorded here in this very chair at this very desk. And then it was shipped out to Texas to be mixed and mastered. All I recorded was DIs. I didn't record any amp tones here.
Oh, okay.
Just DIs. Yeah, which I'll be honest, I don't really like to do. But I trust Fernando, my engineer and mixing engineer, mastering engineer, so much that like I knew he was going to kill it, and he did. He obviously did. So I had to like put my guitar ego in check. So I guess there's a little bit of egotisticalness in there.
See,
yeah, like
it all comes full circle.
Like, would I have loved to use like my Victory Super Kraken? Yeah, dude, like for sure. But I have to realize that like it's his product as well. I view him as like my right hand man, my teammate in this. he's my buddy, so I trust him, and knew he was going to kill it. So I don't even know what the guitar tone is. I never even asked, and I almost kind of like want to keep it like a running joke. I don't know what the amp is or whatever. Or
Well, it's
pedal.
brutal.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's pretty rad. Yeah, so like he kind of just like took what I made and like made it his thing. So I owe him a lot of praise, and I want to make sure it's like his name and his contributions are recognized, because he's the one that made it sound so huge and so epic, dude. He killed it in that regard.
So what was the process of recording like for that? Did you, well, I'm assuming it was like MIDI drums and stuff like that, and did you record bass for it, or is that something you sent out as well?
I did, yes. So MIDI drum, it's all MIDI drums. I programmed all the drums myself, and then I just sent out the MIDI file again to Texas. And then Fernando, he's a drummer, so like that's his bread and butter. Another reason why I recruited him is because I knew he would make the drums sound otherworldly. So yeah, all MIDI drums, and then I did all the bass and I did all the guitars. Again, just all DIs. But honestly, dude, a lot of the drop F stuff is just the guitar. But like, I just titled it bass track. But it's like the same guitar, because like, in drop F the register's so low that like I don't think I could get a bass to.
It's like inaudible at that point.
Yeah, like an octave below drop F. So like it's all the same register anyway. So again, Fernando killed it. Just made my guitar sound like a really good bass. And again, I didn't have to worry about it. He just knocked it out of the park in that regard.
So was it a conscientious decision to like go more towards like the baritones and the super huge scale length guitars, or was that just something that just happened? Like you just stumbled onto it?
I think I just stumbled onto it. I know my limitations as an artist. What I'm not good at is like really long, intricate, interesting solos, like a Steve Vai or like a Shred album. I can't do that, and I can't make like a 5-minute backing track and then just make an interesting solo melody line for 5 minutes. I can't do that. My brain has a very short attention span, and I know I couldn't remember how to play all that stuff, or I didn't want to create something like that. So I know my strengths are based on my 5 years of feedback on the internet. People really seem to enjoy my riffs, and the baritone land was just a subconscious way for me to stand out amongst the crowd. But over time, now it's become a conscious thing. I stumbled across baritones just out of curiosity, and then once I realized that like I find it really inspiring and creative, and then the audience, like my YouTube audience, really loved it. Not even with original music, but just like demos of the guitar or like the amp, and then I'll use a baritone, and people really like my riffs there. That's where I kind of realized like, hey, I'm kind of onto something. Like I'm kind of good at this. If I'm still trying to figure it, everything out in life, but on the instrument as well. Like I'm still learning the guitar, but I think I'm kind of good at like kind of creating like down-tuned, heavy riffs that are bouncy and fun to listen to.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the major thing that I don't think people really understand about this type of music. It's not about the riff so much, and it's not about the song so much. It's about the groove that you can get out of it. And yeah. I think that's what draws people to it, but it's also what turns people off, because, I'm sure everyone that's listening, or, you and I definitely would know people that would consider it not music at all.
Right. But that's fine. That's the beauty of art and the subjectivity of art. But I'm not trying to cater towards that demographic. Mm-hmm. I'm not really trying to cater towards any demographic other than myself. Like I wanted to create this album and all my music for myself. And the icing on the cake is if everybody else likes it. Because I feel like if you're just chasing other people's opinions about it, you'll drive yourself nuts, and you personally will never be happy with it because you're always trying to please other people. Mm-hmm. I love it first and foremost, and I stand behind it, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why this is the first time ever I'm doing it for real as a solo dude. Just this is my time. It's my turn. So yeah, like I just want to just make it special and listenable and enjoyable for me first. And if other people dig it, that's that's the ultimate cool thing. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So earlier you had mentioned about a previous endeavor and musically, and
Yeah.
we've all seen the YouTube video. Is that anything you care to elaborate on, or do you feel the video did it justice?
I think the video did it justice. Yeah, dude. Yeah, nothing else really needs to be said about that. I'm just stoked to be able to, like, I don't know, just do my own thing.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that.
So you're after a quick Google search, it turns out that you're a Victory artist or Victory Amps artist. Is there any other endorsements or anything that's on the horizon in the future?
In the future, no, dude. I'm pretty content with. Well, I shouldn't even say content. I'm very happy with all my endorsements. I'm honored to be a Victory artist, a Balaguer guitars artist, a Stringjoy artist, and an EMG pickup artist.
That's the big one right there, EMG.
Yeah, that is like, what an honor, dude. Right?
Well, I remember being like, like reading Guitar World and stuff and seeing like ads with Zakk Wylde or Alexi from Children of Bodom, and like that must be like incredible.
Dude, thank you, man. Yeah, it really is, dude. Like when I first figured out that like there's a humbucker with a battery in it, like what? And then like that's why Zakk Wylde has like that crazy pinch harmonic sound, or the duality riff in Slipknot. The Slipknot duality riff with the pinch harmonic. It sounds like so clean and intense. Mm-hmm. Those dudes are using active pickups. Like what? That's crazy. I want some of those. And this is back before I couldn't even afford a pair. So like I've been obsessed and infatuated with EMG pickups. Even like back in the day, I don't know what they're using now, but like the Parkway Drive boys were all EMG dudes. I loved Parkway Drive, like 06, 07, 08, that whole era, the first two albums. All my favorite artists use EMGs. So yeah, man, I'm just so thankful that like I'm, on that team. Like what an absolute honor, man.
Well, I remember looking at a set of EMGs and I was like, you know what? No, actually the first like realistic thing that ever happened to me when I actually realized that you have to be a fully formed musician to sound like those people was I had gotten into Death, and
sick.
I was like, I wanted to know everything Chuck Schuldiner had. I wanted to know everything, and I was like, well, he uses DiMarzio pickups and he's got an X2N, and if I buy one, I can sound like Chuck Schuldiner. And then I bought an X2N and I did not sound like Chuck Schuldiner at all.
It didn't work out for you like that?
No, it didn't work just like that. Funny enough, I still have that pickup to this day, and yeah, I still can't sound like Chuck Schuldiner. But
that's cool though. Keep that though. They'll never get rid of that pickup.
Oh yeah, well, it's kind of like it's like a crossbreeding type thing that probably shouldn't happen. I have it in I have a Sterling Axis, so basically like the late '80s Van Halen guitar, and I put
is that the one behind you right now?
That one is my Kramer copy.
The other way.
2 Les Pauls, and then
what's that?
This is the
right. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah, that's the pickup right there.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, you're like, oh yeah, it's an Axis. It's the Eddie Van Halen. I'm like,
Well, that's the thing. On my screen, I can't see what you can see. Well, I don't know if it pans out any further. Like on my view, it's just the
yeah. It makes sense, yeah, because like on my end, I'm like I'm barely in the frame. Yeah. I'm like, am I centered here? Like, can you see me? Yeah.
And then there's the EMG set that I bought to sound like Zakk Wylde.
I did notice that. I saw the either gold or silver little writing on the neck pickup. It's like, yeah, okay.
So
this dude knows what's up.
Oh yeah, I've been playing for a little while. Well, 16 years, but
that's a little bit.
I couldn't make it doing that, so I do this.
Come on now. You can do both.
Oh yeah. Well, I try. Going back to like Zakk Wylde and people like that, it's obvious when you go through your channel that you're a fan of Eddie Van Halen and Zakk Wylde and those guys. I just want to draw like a similarity real quick.
Okay.
It's funny like watching your videos and watching the shorts and everything. You're always smiling when you're playing. and that's like a main characteristic of Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, it's like,
is that a conscious thing?
no, dude, it's so subconscious, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. And like, that's not to like sound dramatic or whatever. It's like, I don't even realize what I'm doing. But I do remember a conscious thought of, I'm going to stop caring as much in my videos, because a lot of people are really, first off, a lot of people are really, I will say, threatened by me smiling when I play. It's like a talking point, and like people have threatened me with like violence because
ridiculous.
I smile. It's wild, dude. It's like, it just happened yesterday actually. It's like, something about your face makes me want to punch it. Great demo though. I was like, oh, sick, dude, thanks. Like, I didn't know how to feel. He like hit me with a negative, but then also complimented me. I was like, so are you happy? Anyway.
Then he subscribed and probably asked if you had a Patreon too.
Yeah. It was like it was so bizarre. But I do remember a couple years ago, I made the conscious effort to stop caring so much about the way I speak, about the way I play, about how I look. Now, when I say how I look, I want to be presentable, but what I'm saying is like my mannerisms and my antics, and if I stumble on a word, I don't edit it out as much, because I don't talk that way. I talk very slow, and I stumble on my words a lot. I found this out just by talking to a camera every day. That's just who I am. So it became to a point where like I was trying so hard to be so polished and so like clean with my videos, and like be so articulate, and then not even talking about playing. This is like speaking, but then also too like being really, really proficient on the instrument. And if I made a mistake, I'd have to start all over, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't getting anywhere. So about 2-3 years ago, I was like, dude, screw this, man. I'm just gonna, whatever comes out, I'm trying my best. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really, really trying. So that's when I started to really have some fun and enjoy myself and smile and laugh. I was like, dude, I'm allowed to have fun playing guitar. And especially in metal, it's like so taboo, and like, oh, don't smile when you're playing metal. Like, we got to look like we hate our lives. And like,
yeah.
I don't get that, man. It's like, it's so, it's just such a bummer that people get so like I said, threatened by me smiling, as if like I'm some terrible person because like I'm smiling while I play and drop F through like an EVH or something.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Then it's funny because like you said about like, you know, like you have to like present yourself in this sort of way playing metal, but then like on the other opposite end of the spectrum you have like Adam D from Killswitch Engage that like wears a cape on stage and all that other stuff,
a guitar and all that. Yeah, but like I think that's super rad, dude. Like obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. I think Adam D is just being who he is. He's a goofball. Mm-hmm. You know, he's one of a kind, kind of quirky dude. But he doesn't like hinder his own. He doesn't shadow his own personality because, you know, that's not what he's quote unquote supposed to do in metal. Like, and now he's a legend and is like unique in that aspect. Like everybody knows Adam D is that dude.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, like we're allowed to be our own individual selves and we're allowed to enjoy ourselves. Like I don't. That's like such a weird thought process to me. Like life's hard enough. Like guitar is fun. Like I play guitar because it's my pastime and it's fun. It's my passion. It's my whole being in life anymore. I want to enjoy it. I'm allowed to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like why why am I being ridiculed for doing what I love? It's very, very puzzling. So yeah, it's very, very bizarre.
Well, it's actually kind of funny too, because even in like doing this, like I remember when we had first started, every time we messed up a word or we, messed something up, it would, we'd have to make a mark and then redo that section and then go back. And then finally I was just like, you know what? Like, who cares? Like, first off, no one's listening anyway. And second off, like, at least we're human beings. Like, this is real. Like, this is how we are.
Yeah, man. Like, you're allowed to, like you said, you're allowed to be human. You're allowed to make a mistake. You're allowed to, have a lapse in thought process, a lapse in like finding the right word or like misspeaking. I envy people that can do that, I guess, in a little bit, because it would make my editing a lot better and it would make, I don't know, it would be better, I guess. But I don't know, at the same time, I am who I am. I talk the way I talk, and same with you. You talk the way you talk. You create the way you create.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's who you are, and kind of like what I was saying. I'd like to think you're trying your very best. Like you're not trying to mess up.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't like beat yourself up because like, oh, I said the wrong word. I stumbled on a word. You know what I mean? Like it's all good. You know, we're trying.
Like sometimes there is mess ups and it's like, okay, we really have to change that. Like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
like that's really bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously there's. Don't get it twisted. I have to do a lot of editing, but yeah, like a little misstep here and there is totally fine. It's a part of it, you know.
So how does the whole like, since you're the main, yeah, well, you're the only person that's doing all the work on your channel, what's the process like for creating the content and coming up with the ideas for the videos? And I guess realistically, what is the, like, the timeline of events from creation to being live?
Good question. I've gotten it pretty streamlined, dude. I'm always thinking of videos. I'm always like I'm literally never not thinking of videos. You know, past except for sleep or like when I'm doing other things. But like when I have downtime, I'm always brainstorming. And so like my timeline of events is I'll think of a topic the day before it goes live, and then the morning of I shoot it, I edit it, and then I put it out by the afternoon. Like today's filming, I did a video on my upgraded Stratocaster with EMG pickups in it. I shot that and edited it and uploaded it all today, all this afternoon. So I've gotten it down pretty good to where like I can crank them out within like 90 minutes of like relatively good quality video.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks, man.
I actually did watch that video before we got on.
Oh, right on. Yeah, yeah. I'm wearing the same shirt in case you didn't notice. Yeah, dude. Like I do it the day of anymore. I used to shoot videos and have them unlisted, and then like I would do like I had like set numbers of videos per week. Like sometimes it was 2, sometimes it was 3. 3 was usually my mark. It was usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I realized that like my subscriber, like my traction wasn't going as fast as I personally wanted it to go. So to compete with like one of my favorite channels is like the Trogley's Guitar Show.
Oh my god, I love that dude.
Yeah, that show's so rad. He puts out a video every single day, every day. He buys like a vintage Les Paul custom every day and shoots a video on it. It's so crazy. Anyway, to keep up with people like that who are killing it, you gotta put out something every single day. So it got to a point where like I would have videos unlisted, but then every day I would just put one out, and then like, you know, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel, and then eventually it was empty. There was no more unlisted videos.
Yeah.
To where now it's like I just shoot, edit, and upload the day of, or at the earliest like the day before if I have some sort of downtime. I don't necessarily like that, but in order to compete, you know, it's just what it's become. Just every single day I make a video. Well, I would say like 28 out of the 30 days a month I make a video.
See, and that's funny too, because that's almost how we do it here. Like before my other co-host moved up to North Jersey, we would just be like, hey, we're going to record this weekend. And, you know, we'll do like 2 episodes, and then we will not talk about it until he shows up. So I understand, and I agree 100% with what you're saying. I feel like it adds like a level of, I don't know, like, it's like real. Like, because it's like spur of the moment, and it's there. And
it's off the top of your head, right?
Exactly, it's genuine.
Especially with a podcast, like you're just sitting here shooting the bull. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And like I've always felt like it was really genuine to do something like that, to where it's not like some scripted thing where, you know, you have all of your talking points already written out.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard the show. You see how we do things.
I'm on it right now.
Exactly.
No, but I agree, man. It's like I really wish I could like have things unlisted and I could take my time, but I'm not where I want to be yet in life in terms of like numbers, in terms of finances, all the above. So the faster I get there, the faster the faster I'll achieve my goal, the happier I'll be. I don't even know what my goal is what my goals are, but like I just know I'm not there yet. So rather than like sit around and like limit myself and hinder myself to 3 videos a week, for me personally, I'm just doing it as fast as I can. And it kind of like stressful, but it kind of just keeps me motivated to just like force myself to grow my audience and my brand, if you want to call it that, but just grow my platforms as fast as I possibly can.
Well, I feel like that's the thing too, because all it really takes is one video or one clip of a video for somebody to see it, and then next thing you know, you're a Jared Dines.
I disagree.
No, you don't think so?
I disagree. Not anymore. Not for the last person I really think that blew up, in my opinion, in the guitar world was like K-Mac.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, he's like the king of memes, dude.
Right. Well, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like that's like a different type of like viral content is like very comedy based or vice versa.
Yeah.
But like an artist and or a guitar player that does a lot of their content on the gear itself, you're not gonna blow up. Like it's just impossible. There's only a handful of videos that really got me some serious traction immediately, but a lot of them are just like slow burns. Like they just over the course of several years steadily pick up steam. But like the only real viral video I had, there's 2 actually. It was Rig Rundown with Jim Root, and then
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it's like the sickest video of all time. Yeah, like obviously. And then why Jim Root wears a hair tie on his hand when he plays. That video blew up, and I think it was just because it was at the height of lockdown. I think it was just a coincidence, because it's a really like that got me like 200,000 views or whatever it was. But yeah, like I personally disagree. On YouTube, blowing up and going viral doesn't happen as much anymore. I think like TikTok, you can go viral. Instagram Reels, you can go viral. So I guess in that regard, I agree with you. But like for strictly YouTube, I don't think there's really such a thing as a viral video anymore. It's just the platform has changed.
That's an interesting way to look at it too.
It doesn't mean it's right. It's just my opinion.
No, like, I get it.
I just feel like YouTube videos are almost like little movies. Like they really, like if you think about it, like look at like there's like true crime videos out there, or like documentary videos, all for free on YouTube, and they're like an hour long or something. It's like a full on mini movie or documentary. Like, you know, it's the production value on YouTube as a whole, the platform as a whole, is push the envelope. Where it's not like viral video of a cat doing whatever that's funny. Like,
yeah, right.
That's like so 2006 or whatever. that happens like on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever.
Well, I also feel like the whole thing with YouTube changing was what I believe it was in a part of like iPhones having like better cameras and stuff like home recording and video editing and free softwares and stuff like that becoming more, you know, accessible to the normal person. Yeah. I mean, like if you were to like go back in time like 10 years, like YouTube wasn't what it is now.
Oh no, like YouTube in 2012, YouTube had been around for like 7 years. But it you know, people, I in my opinion, I really don't think there were like actual YouTubers in 2012. Maybe just by then they were just starting to be. But like I feel like the YouTuber mentality of like this could be a career really didn't like take off, in my own humble opinion, until like 2015, give or take.
Well, I mean, you had like the introduction of like dudes like David Dobrik and Mr. Beast and those type of guys. Yeah, make like incredible amounts of money for absolutely no reason at all. But
yeah, they did it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, you can't take it from those guys at all. It's just so wild that a platform like that is able to do what it is. I mean, like even like in my life, I barely watch regular TV. It's mostly YouTube.
The only TV I watch is NASCAR on Sunday.
I haven't watched NASCAR in quite a few years, but
Did you used to watch? Dude, I'm a huge NASCAR fan.
I used to watch up until I believe like 2004.
When they changed.
Jeff Gordon was my boy.
Yeah, me too, man. Dude, I grew up. How old? Can I ask how old you are?
I'm going to be 30 in October.
Okay, cool. I just turned 30 like 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So we're the same age, yeah. Yeah. So like in '04 they changed the points to the chase, and it wasn't Winston Cup anymore. But I'm now getting back into it because like I don't know, it's nostalgia based.
I thought about it, and then I started seeing like the whole chase thing, and you know, I don't know. It's like I wish we can go back to a time where you had dudes like Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Yeah,
you know,
Terry Labonte.
Yeah, Terry Labonte, and like all those guys. It's just like I don't know. It just like everything else, it changes.
Yeah, but I like it now because Jimmy. No offense to Jimmy Johnson, but he like won 7 championships, and it was getting really stale. Now that he's retired, it's like all right, let's see what now we have like people's kids, like Chase Elliott, Bill Elliott's kid.
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney, Dave Blaney's kid. Like there's like a whole new generation. So it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of fun for me. So that's the only TV I watch anymore.
Yeah, let me think. Like the only real things I watch on TV is I watched This Is Us, and then I used to watch Street Outlaws, and that was about it.
I don't even know what any of that is.
Yeah. Well, Street Outlaws is drag racing show or street racing show.
Okay. Okay. I'm so out of touch with the world. Not even TV, just the world. I don't know anything about anything. Like my fiance, she makes fun of me. She's like, you didn't hear about this or that. I'm like, who's that? Like I can't give an example off the top of my head, but like I'm so in my own little bubble with my guitar and my amps. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just trying to enjoy my own little world.
Well, at the end of the day, that's all you could really want.
I guess people are like, don't you care about what's going on in the world? I'm like,
no. Every
time I turn on the news, it doesn't nothing good seems to be happening. So I'm kind of cool with just like learning about like I don't know how to make your guitar sound heavier. Right. Like, that if that was on the news, I'd watch it, but it's not. So like,
yeah, every time I turn on terrestrial TV, it's just about how everything sucks.
Yeah, dude, it's like everybody's, Philadelphia's news is just like murder here, high gas prices there. I guess it's across all the United States, but just murder and gas prices. I don't mean to laugh, but like, dude, it's like such a bummer.
Yeah, I mean that's it. And then you have like all like the political nut jobs and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, dude.
Like Facebook is starting to become a thing. Like I don't even like going on anymore.
I have one. I just post my YouTube videos on Facebook and that's it.
Yeah, it's just so crazy.
And you know what? In everybody's defense, whatever you're into, like politics or any of that, that's totally cool. I'm personally not, and that's just why like I like my, I'm into what I'm into as everybody else is. So. I try to just seek out what I'm into, and what I'm into isn't on the television. It's all on YouTube. You know what I mean? So that's it.
My wife hates it. She's like, "Are you serious?"
Why? Because why is she not a fan of it?
Because it's all I watch is YouTube. Like I'm like, I don't really care to watch Real Housewives or the Kardashians.
Yeah. Kardashians, dude. Yeah, dude. Oh god. Or Teen Mom. Like apparently there's like 17 versions of Teen Mom.
Yeah, I think there's like 12 and Knocked Up and like stuff like that.
Yeah, like Teen Mom OG, Teen Mom 2, back to like throwback. Like I don't know. It's like all these like shows. I'm like, what?
Teen Mom 4, Back to School.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's like it's Teen Mom College. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, there's so many spinoffs, dude.
So back on the track with music.
Okay, my bad. That was all my fault.
No, that's what I said, man. I want it to be free flowing. Like I don't know. It just makes for good conversation. It's just not like
it's flowing, dude. It's flowing right now.
Like I'm not like Kurt Loder or like Larry King.
Yeah. So tell me about it.
Yeah, exactly. What's your stance on the oil prices?
Yeah.
So getting back to guitar here, who would you say are some of your bigger influences? Because you have a like unique playing style, like especially with the baritones and stuff like that. And like obviously I've seen the video where, you know, where you talk about your favorite guitar players. How do they fall into place in your playing style?
They are not even in there at all. If I'm being completely honest, like I'm not like when I come up with a riff or something, I'm not like, oh, this is gonna be like the Eddie Van Halen inspired riff,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna listen to Led Zeppelin 2 today, and then I'm gonna write a song based off of what I feel inspired by.
Yeah, right.
Like none of them are ever in my thought process. The only ones I guess would be Zakk Wylde for pinch harmonics, and that's it, and Jim Root for pinch harmonics. Like that's like my favorite trick on the guitar. A pinch harmonic never doesn't sound awesome to me. Like it's always like every time I hit one clean, it's like it's the same response as if I hit it for the first time clean. Like it is so fun. I'm getting excited thinking about it over a stupid pinch harmonic.
Like I remember when I first learned how to do it. It's all I did.
Dude, right? Like I spent hours and hours just learning a pinch harmonic, and I don't know when I got good at them, but like I did eventually. And like I get like excited. Like I tell you what, like when I know there's a part coming up, like in one of my songs, or like I know I'm about to hit one, I get like giddy. Like, oh, here we go. Like let's see what, you know. And then when I nail it, it's like, oh yeah, dude, like I got it. Like because they're so challenging, they're so finicky, and so, you know, the minute millimeter away from when you do it. Too much, you deaden it. Not enough, you don't get it. So it's really fun.
Well, it's funny too. Like this one guitar I have here, I don't know what's up with it. Like I can't get good squeals on it, right? Mm-hmm. But like if I move like up and down, like the, you know, the area in between the neck and the bridge, I'm able to get them in certain places. And like just to have that kind of challenge too makes them even worth it even more. Right.
Yeah. Like it's not like, you know, every time you hit an open A string, no matter what guitar it is, it's going to sound like an open A.
Yeah,
string.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like, harmonics, like some are good or some are bad. Like some guitars have magical spots, and, you know, another guitar will have the sweet spot of where you can grab them here. Or like, you're like, oh, like the 3rd fret on my Les Paul, that's a good spot. Yeah. Like it's so nerdy, but it's so fun, dude. Like,
and it's the same thing too with amps. Like I don't know if you do this too. Like when you hook up to an amp and you go and you do a squeal, like if it doesn't sound right, you're like, nope, no, I won't be using this.
I've never done that. I've never. You've done that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I've done that. I've done that with pedals. I've done that with amps. I'm like, okay, I can't get this.
Oh wow! Now I think my gauge on pinch harmonics specifically stops at the guitar. I honestly, I think it stops at me, because it's like, well, I didn't do it well enough. Like I very seldomly ever blame the gear for my inability to perform. But it's funny, like, but I bet you it's like in your head, like, oh, the amp, you know, I didn't get a pinch harmonic or whatever I'm trying to do with this amp. It's like bad vibes, you know, it's like superstition or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like I remember I had this, it was like a Fender Mustang amp, mm-hmm. and like on the JCM 800 setting, they would sound amazing. But then there was like the Metal 2000 or whatever it was called, and like it just sounded like it ran through like an EQ and like just scooped the mid, or took the mids all the way up, and it was just like, man, this don't sound right. I like how I get like the heaviness, but I guess I'll just stay with the JCM 800.
It's like modeling like a crate from 2001. Yeah. Remember those things?
Oh yeah. Well, I remember at one point I actually bought a Crate Tube amp, the Blue Voodoo, and I loved it.
Oh, I didn't even know those things existed.
Oh yeah, they were great. They originally came out in the 90s, I think, and like Marty Friedman used them, and like Sammy Hagar used them, and then they discontinued them. They came back in the 2000s. I did know
Sammy Hagar used them.
Yeah.
There was I had a Guitar World Legends Guitar World magazine. It's still at my mom's house, and it was like all about Eddie Van Halen, but there was a Crate ad with the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar, and there was like Crate amps in the background, and I remember being like, oh, he plays Crate? Like, I thought they weren't very good, or, you know, I don't even know if they were good or weren't, but I just remember like,
I can tell you that amp that I had was good.
It was?
Oh yeah, that amp was amazing.
You know, it's funny, like I'm still really naive with amps. I'm knowledgeable about guitars, I think, to some degree. Amps, I'm still learning a decent amount, because I don't know, one, I couldn't afford them growing up, as nobody could. But I just feel like when I was a kid, I really absorbed a lot when I was a kid. And I just remember really just being into guitars, like learn about like old school Les Pauls and Strats, and like even to this day I still love that stuff. Amps is a little foreign to me. I'm still learning, and I think it's because you can't play an amplifier.
Yeah, I see what
you know what I mean. Like,
yep.
I'm a huge. I sound like a hippie, but I'm really into like the connection with the instrument. I think that's like the coolest thing, and like as I get older, I really feel like a bond with the instrument. I don't feel that way with my amplifiers. I love my amplifiers, but like there's something magical about holding like a Strat or Les Paul. I think it's like it's a part of you. Like I never understood what artists would say, or when they would say that, what they meant by that. I thought it was kind of like silly and cheesy. I get it now as I get older. It's like it really is an extension of you. So
yeah,
that's why I'm really like I said, I'm learning about amps still, and I'm relatively naive and still kind of, a novice in the amp world.
Yeah, see, I went after the crate, I went to just straight modeling. I got an 11 rack, and I was like, I'm done with buying real amps, and I know if I dial in a sound on here, it's going to be the same no matter where I go. Everything's going to be fine. And I never really looked back since. And like when I do like all the music for the show and everything, it's all, amp sims, and like Fluff made the Sound Labs like 5153, and like that thing is like ridiculous.
Yeah, his signature amp Roots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
That thing is insane.
Yeah, and it's free.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny. I did a cover of the No More Tears solo on my Instagram, and I tagged him in and he liked it. It was like a little like fangirl thing. I was like, oh my god, he liked
it. Dude, by the way, great solo to shoot. Like that is epic. That's one of the best solos of all. Like, dude, it's because it like starts out so slow.
Yup.
And it just builds into this crescendo. Oh man, dude, so sick.
No More Tears is just like a great album. It's just amazing from start to finish.
One of the underrated guitar tones, in my opinion. Like, I know people kind of poo-poo Zakk Wylde's guitar tone. I don't know. I think it's kind of rad. Chorus pedal and EMGs, like come on, and a Les Paul, like come on, and a Marshall.
I feel like people just like shit all over Zakk Wylde for no reason.
Oh, dude,
it's like, he's the pentatonic guy. Yeah, and can you play pentatonics that fast? Because I can't.
Yeah, like I don't get. Yeah, like people really don't like Zakk. Like there's like this weird amount of like biases or like judgment on like certain artists, and like Zakk Wylde's like one of the ones that gets like the most judgment and or hate. It's like
he's no Randy Rhoads. Yeah.
But see, like I'm not a big Ozzy fan. I know all the hits, but in my opinion, I'm like, yeah, he is. Like, why is he not? No disrespect to Randy Rhoads, a legend, obviously, but like, what is Zakk Wylde not doing to be at that caliber? Like, I don't understand that. Like,
he's done everything and more, and his tone wasn't absolutely atrocious.
You talk about how Randy Rhoads it's a little
fizzy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I like it, but like I respect it. Like it's legendary now, but like I don't know, like Randy came up with Crazy Train and Mama's Gonna Work It. What's that song
Flying
called?
High Again.
Yeah, Flying High, like he's on that, and those songs are rad. But like Zakk Wylde has No More Tears, Perry Mason, Miracle Man. Like, come on, dude. Like,
I mean, if anyone ever wanted to question or talk any kind of shit about Zakk Wylde, I go, have you ever heard the Devil's Daughter solo? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, like, I just named off Ozzy songs. We didn't even get to, like, Black Label Society. Like, again, not the biggest fan of Black Label Society per se, but, dude, like, he can rip.
Yeah. And even Pride and Glory, too.
Yeah. Like, I love the song Stillborn, even though it's kind of like, it's almost like a meme, like the way he sings it, like but I love it, dude. Like I'm jamming along right there with him, and I love Zakk. So kind of getting back to like what you asked me like 15 minutes ago, it's like The only real people that are in my conscious thought of riff writing are Zach Wild and Jim Root. But when it's time to make a baritone riff, nobody's in there. It's like, because I can't, you can't grab pinch harmonics when you're in drop F and you have 72 gauge strings. Like, it's just not possible. Like that just doesn't work. So, all my favorite tricks out the window when I'm writing a baritone riff.
Well, that's until like Stephen Carpenter does it.
Yeah. He'll
Next year when he comes out with a 10 string.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when like 8 strings came out, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like, I worked at Guitar Center in Mays Landing, and I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And it was a Dean ML 8 string. It was like the biggest guitar I'd ever held in my life.
What year was this?
2012, I think.
Wow.
11, 12, somewhere around there.
A Dean ML 8 string from 2012. Wow.
Dude, it was insane. And like, even then, like I knew like heavy stuff like that existed, but like to hold it and try to play it, it was like, this doesn't even make sense. And then I saw a Schecter 9 string, and I was like, what?
Yeah. There's 10 strings out there too now. It's like,
it's just crazy.
I wanted, for a brief stint, I wanted to be an 8 string player. I thought that was the sick, because truth be told, I love the sound of a low F. That's why I write a lot in drop F. Like, that's the sickest thing. And Meshuggah plays an F standard, so that's where I got that love for that F note. But I realized that like 8 strings are too much. Like, I don't need essentially 2 guitars. I don't need a baritone and a standard scale all in one. I'm not soloing and writing crazy riffs. I'm just doing the riffs. So like, I was doing the cliche, open 1 on on the lowest string. Wow. Like, that's what I was doing. So I was like, all right, I don't need this. I tried, it just wasn't for me. It was too much.
Well, that's the thing too. Usually with stuff like that, like the less is more like approach. And like, it's just all about the groove.
Yeah. That kind of get back to what you like asked me towards the beginning of this. It's like, yeah, I don't need 8 strings to create a groove and a vibe. I really only need 2 strings. Like, if I'm being honest, dude, like,
the rest is just for show. Yeah,
the rest is just to, like, so it doesn't look weird. Like, can't go out there with a 2 string. Like, come on now.
So, yeah, I guess to kind of wrap this thing up, man. Not that I want to get off this call, but my laptop's gonna die.
Hey, no, you don't. Come on now, you don't have to make an. We all know it's plugged in. You don't have to make an excuse.
Yeah, right. No, to kind of wrap this thing up here, what do you have going on? What's coming out? What's on the horizons for you? What's new with the channel? This is your time to shine. Not like you don't have your own platform to do this, but
come on now. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about myself. So yeah, it's June 1st right now. So when's this coming out?
I don't know. I guess I
mean, I don't need to know like by the minute.
Probably the end of June, first week of July.
Cool, that's fine. Didn't know if I needed to talk in like future tense or past tense. So yeah, by the time this comes out, my album most likely will have been released. It's on June 24th, Chronic Pain. That's my main focus for the month of June, is promoting that as respectfully and not annoyingly as possible. But I'm very, very passionate about it, man. I know it's good and I know it's rad. So it's like, I know I have something special in my back pocket, so I want to make sure I let everybody know about it. As far as like daily content with YouTube, dude, it's all just kind of what I've been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years, just flying by the seat of my pants, thinking about videos. I know I have a lot of friends that are local that really help out this channel. They have like awesome gear, like diesels and Randall Satans and like crazy stuff. And they're really supportive of the channel and want to help me. So like, I'll be borrowing their stuff to make videos. So super thankful of that. And then I would love to, my final thing. Well, there's 2 things, pardon me. I'm also going to be creating some like hard copies of the album. I have CDs that are en route as we speak. They'll be available for purchasing. But I would love to do some vinyl as well.
Oh, that would be killer.
It would be awesome. The problem is, man, it's just so expensive.
Yeah, I can
So
imagine.
yeah, it's like for like 50 presses, it's like $2,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, like depending on who you go through, but that's like a benchmark. That's a number that I have to come up with, which is very very hard to do. So that would be an ultimate goal. But I do have CDs that people are asking about, just like not necessarily to like listen to on the CD player, but as a piece of history, we'll call it, like a piece of the
exactly.
album. So that'll be coming up, and then the last thing. There's one more thing I was gonna say. I said two things. Oh yeah, I guess I don't know. That might be it. I guess it's constantly just cranking out videos daily on the channel, and just constantly just pushing not only my album, but also too I can't neglect for the month, why people are subscribed to my channel. Like, I can't just be like, all right, I'm a solo artist now.
Yeah.
And expect everybody to be cool with that. And like that's all I'm gonna do. No, I have to be self-aware and realize that like there's an audience that have subscribed to my channel that expects something from me, that is, gear, tips and recording, all the above. So for the next several weeks, that'll be what I'm doing. I remember the last thing I'll say. I also would love to play my original music live again. I've played live with bands and stuff like that, but I would love to be able to play this stuff live, and I can and I will. It's just a matter of putting the pieces together. So very very busy. Long story short,
that's
very busy.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Well, maybe sometime in between now and then, maybe we get you on the show, maybe in person or something. Get you across the bridge here to South Jersey.
That'd be awesome. I've never done a podcast in person yet. So
really?
Yeah, no, never, dude. It's always. I mean, these are great too, but I think there's something even cooler about doing it in person. But I don't know. I haven't done it yet. Maybe I'll do it and I'll hate it. So we'll find out.
It's not much different than this, as long as you don't mind hearing yourself in your headphones.
Nah, dude. I have to listen to myself like when I listen back to my videos, so it's like I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me.
It's funny, like whenever like I introduce like a new host onto the show or somebody like that, and they put the headphones on, I'm like, listen, it's gonna be very weird. You just don't pay attention to it, because you always have that like microsecond delay, and you're constantly hearing everything that you're saying. But if you can get past that point, podcasting is great.
I like to think I like it and I enjoy it. Just not even necessarily when it's about me and the guest. I just like talking to people about the things that we're passionate about. So, long story short, I would love to do that sometime down the road. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Okay.
Absolutely. On that note, man, thank you for coming on. This was fun. Like, it's funny too, because I say this every time I get on an interview. I'm like, this is the most fun I've had on an interview in a long time. But like this one's probably this has got to be either number 1 or number 2 on my interviews that I've done.
Who am I competing against?
Probably Fluff, to be honest with you. I hate to do this like YouTuber against YouTuber thing.
He was probably more entertaining. Let's be real.
No, he was a good time, man. It was funny. Like you and him like responded like almost instantly to me when I wrote, and
I can't speak on his behalf, but I'd like to think he would say the same thing. I'm just a dude,
Yeah.
Like everybody else, just down to hang out with people. You know what I mean?
Well, my thing too is it's like you probably have an idea of how many no's I've had.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
had
I can only
millions
imagine.
of no's at this point. And I think sometime in the near future, I think I might do like a YouTube video of all the no's and like read the letters that I've gotten back. I think that would be kind of funny.
It would be something to see like what goes on behind the scenes. But I always say yes. I always say yes, unless it hasn't happened yet, but unless there's some like show that I just don't want to be on. I always say yes because honestly, dude, I knew what it was like to like be rejected in the beginning of my YouTube channel, and even to this day to some degree. Like I know what it's like to be rejected, and I think it would be really pompous of me to like people, somebody's asking me to be a guest. I think it would be really lame if I said no. The least I could do is give you my time because you value me as a guest. So like I think that's incredibly nice, for lack of a better word. I really appreciate that. So like I'd be, I mean it when I say I'm honored to take up your time to be a guest on your show. So it's all good, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No worries, dude.
All right, man. This was fun.
Yeah, dude, I enjoyed it, man. Thank you so much, man. I hope it went well. I think it went well.
I think it went well.
I think so too.
I don't think there's any editing that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you didn't say anything stupid, but I don't know if I
think I said, what was it? Egotisticalism? I don't even think that's a word.
That's got to go. I mean, come on, man. You're better. You're better than that, dude.
I know.
Come on. What are you doing, man?
All right, brother. Well, thank you for coming on, and I'll be in touch, and we'll try to set something up to get this done in person too.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know when it goes live. That way I can do my thing on my end to cross promote. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.
No worries, man. That's what friends are for, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay.
You too. Later.
Later, bud. Hey everyone, this is Stay Metal Ray. You're listening to Rage Against the Mainstream podcast. Check out my new song, Neck Brace.